Should be working. Hey, there we are. Make sure everything's actually picking up this time. Video's good. Audio's good. Alright. Chat is up. And we are fixed. We're good. Alright. See if we can find anything useful to do today. Lord Almighty, do we have a lot going on. See, multiple transfer vehicles. Unfortunately, our rover is on its way back because it lost solar power due to very poor positioning on my part. So this is going to be dead for a little while. Thankfully, it's periap's back to Kerbin. Looks like it isn't going to bring it into the atmosphere, so I can maybe salvage it and give it another go. Possibly. Really not sure. But we will give that another shot. Especially since I didn't save any of this stuff, so it was a one-time go. Name it. I've been lazy lately about not naming everything. So right now that's junk. Not totally critical to our mission on Minmus, so I'm not too concerned about launching a replacement. I think we'll just let it go for the moment. Relay network. Relay network is slowly getting off kilter here. Don't know what that's all about. Let's try and fix our Kerbin synchronous relay. It means we're slightly off on our orbit. And the other relays are catching up to this one, unfortunately. Does it tell me my orbital period? It does not. That's not useful at all. I wish it did. That would be much easier. It does say we're exactly 1 day off. So maybe it's our other ones that are actually just flying tighter than they should be. Not sure. Let's just ever so slightly retrograde burn this though. Extreme thrust limitation. It looks like there's quite a bit of wiggle room there. Been on a periaps quite a bit for a synchronized orbit. Shaving 4 seconds off. That's more like it, like 30 seconds off. That should slowly put that back into position here. Equilateral distance away from the other two, hopefully. Orbiter 3 is talking to us. I think Orbiter 3 is the one that's out of fuel. Yep, that's the one that's out of fuel. That explains why that one's talking to us, but not doing its thing. Position this solar panel just one more time. Make sure I can actually get power. Let's see about getting rid of some of this space debris, I guess, while we wait for other stuff to transfer to Minmus. Could start with another cleanup vehicle. Let's see if we can get Nedbo's pod that's way out there, just because that's really annoying that it's even there. Should be an interesting one. Be a retrograde launch. We don't do very often. So cleanup probe version 2. This is a pretty good vehicle to do this with, although wondering if on retrograde burn it's gonna really cut the mustard here. Find out. So in kind of an unusual move, we're going to do a retrograde orbit with this guy and start heading for Nedbo's pod. We'll work out the inclination when we get a little closer to the correct altitude, so we're not wasting fuel in that process. We have a cleanup probe on the way. Nice and easy. Solids up past 10,000 meters. And then we start heading into a retrograde turn. Driving our apogee. It's of course less efficient than doing a prograde turn. Because we're fighting the rotation of the planet instead of benefiting from it. Those are there, okay. It's kind of freaky. Those belong up there. Bad staging there for a second. Could have been bad. Alright, so getting our horizontal velocity up, working on getting us into orbital velocity. We can now deploy the solar panel, if I can find it. There we go. At a safe altitude for that. Should also have an antenna somewhere here to deploy. It's actually under the solar panel. Yep. We're gonna have to probably pitch up a little bit. Which is fine. We're going for a very high destination orbit anyway, so we're not wasting too much using our fuel on driving a higher apogee. That seems to be keeping everything going in the right way. Although, as I said, this is kind of rough. Retrograde is going to use more fuel, so we are probably going to run out of fuel on our second stage before we reach orbit. So we will have to switch to our transfer stage to achieve the rest of the orbital velocity. But that shouldn't be too bad. We'll be pretty close by the time we run out of fuel, it looks like, to orbital velocity. Yep. Ourselves the rest of the way to orbit on this transfer stage. Like, this is an older design, so it's keeping the old version of the Poodle. That's kind of cool. Not the Poodle, Terrier. Alright, almost into a safe orbit. Splendid. Alright, now, we want to go for Nedbo's pod. Now I have the benefit of experience to get us there. So first off, drive a high apogee. It's always more fuel efficient to drive the height of your orbit before you correct inclination. As you get further out, it is much easier to tip your inclination in terms of fuel expense. So that's what we're going to do. So 5 million meters. Okay. There's a good start. Now I want to try and use the fuel in the transfer stage so we can more easily deorbit it. So I am going to try and do the inclination while we're on the way. This way, actually should be the cheapest. Actually, no, it shouldn't. Be the most convenient. Actually, probably not be very cheap at all. Oops. Try that again. That's right on the ascending node. One more time. Make sure we don't accidentally pick any other controls here. 0.0. That's how much we want to burn right there. That should use up decent chunk of what we have left. Actually, not too bad for an inclination change in curve and orbit, so maybe this isn't so bad. It's 23 minutes away. So we're getting ourselves lined up for that one. 28-second burn. Finally deorbiting Nedbo's pod would be a good accomplishment, I think, for myself. I'd be pretty happy with that. think one of our other transfer vehicles just made it into capture. Our nuclear transfer vehicle. Actually, we already did our capture burn, looks like. I must have forgotten doing that. That's interesting. Okay, well, we can deal with that when we deal with it then. How about that? Know where our... There we go. Where our rover is. That's what I'm starting to say. Alright, cool. We don't really have much to worry about time warping. Time warp ourselves up to the next maneuver. Oh, so we are losing a lot of speed before we get there. Good. So that is giving us a fairly efficient inclination change. The slower your orbital velocity, the more efficient your orbital inclination change is going to be. So high orbit is beneficial. So 14 seconds away is where we're going to start. Right there. Cats are being terrorists. Change is going well. Cut that off shortly. Just a little bit of correction. Not bad at all. Yep, ascending node is at 0. Perfecto. I'm going to leave the apogee fairly low. And next maneuver will be at apogee to try and circularize our orbit. Possibly work out a maneuver for intercept, which is not looking very likely. So let's focus on circularization first. A good start. And we can actually complete it with a stage. Wow, okay. This might actually be a little overpowered for this mission. I'll be darned. It's in 2 hours, 49 minutes. I think our rendezvous will take much longer than that to actually happen. So, yeah, I think we can go ahead and we can pretty much warp to that. Why not? I don't want to add maneuver. Can I focus view on it? I don't know how to focus view back on my craft. That's better. So 25-second burn. that one. So about 13 seconds away from maneuver, we'll start burning prograde. Circularize our orbit. Or orbit. Alright. Circularizing. It's trying to make me do that correction, but I'm gonna try and do it anyway. Just because. Alright. Not bad. Not bad at all. So let's see. We are way ahead of it, and we want to be behind it, so that is not good. So we're gonna need some serious time warping here. How's our relay network doing on leveling itself out? Relay 2, relay 3, relay 1. Yeah, relay 1 still needs to get way ahead of them. Fill that gap right there before we have an issue. I guess what I could do for a quick moment, start working on our nuclear transfer vehicle rendezvous with the station. Minmus station. So of course, Minmus station is our target. Got a pretty good rendezvous right there. Oop, had it. Had it and lost it. .8 already. Wow. It's pretty good. it's really good actually. That maneuvers in 1 hour, 4 minutes. Okay. It's only a 9-second burn. Which is good, because we're starting to run out of fuel here for these nuclear engines. This is a heavy payload to be transferring, as evidenced by my inability to keep it from spinning, and with 2 large reaction wheels. Does seem to be doing good so far, though. The actual payload of this, all still locked. Fuel is actually looking pretty good. It's pretty much through all its mission fuel, though. As is the actual transfer vehicle. So we should have just enough to get there. It isn't a big deal about not getting back with the transfer vehicle, because we are going to refuel it at the Minmus station and use it for interplanetary travel rather than inside the Kerbin system. So there's that. Let's go ahead and warp to our maneuver. So we have a very slow orbit around Minmus. Even still, quite a lot of time warp required. We're going to wait for about 5 seconds away from our actual maneuver node to start burning. So not perfectly retrograde, because we will be doing a bit of radial maneuvering and setting up our timing for a rendezvous. Wow, that was a lot less than 9 seconds, it seems like. I don't know why that was suggesting that was going to be a much longer burn. It seemed like that was much less. And there's our separation, 1.8, so it is going to be less than what we anticipated. Just a tiny little bit of correction is going to be required. Which I need to equally limit these, so we're going to go with about 11% thrust on all 3 engines. Perfect. We're going to go do a radial burn. We're going to check this one, just see if this is the one we actually needed that whole time. Looks like it probably is. Or we're going to see if we overshot it, and then in which case we'll need to flip back around. So we're going to monitor this very carefully. Oh, this is the one we needed. 0.5 looks like a pretty good intersect. We're not going to worry about our descending though, because it is so close to our actual approach there. So we're going to leave that off, and we're going to use our target braking, or target maneuvering, to ready us and steady us back out to where we're supposed to go. So braking with this will be a nightmare probably. So I do want to try and plan that out a little bit here. Relative speed will be at 51.9 meters per second. So I don't really care about the direction of the maneuver, because we're going to have the target retrograde to do that for us. However, I do want to see what 51.9 meters per second looks like in a random direction. So I know how many seconds of burn this is. 51.9. 25 seconds. So we're going to have to be a good 13 seconds out. From our maneuver when we start braking. That's going to be a rough braking maneuver. Now this guy... looks like this probably has a while till it's back up to its maneuver. I missed this probe's maneuver last time. That's not a huge deal. Alright, it's in 4 days. So I'll just have to go back to this within 4 days worth, so yeah. We'll have plenty of other stuff going on before that. This one's coming up before that. Our rover's on the way back, unfortunately, due to poor planning. Cleanup probe, still a long way to go before it's in position again. Which is unfortunate. So I'm going to focus view on our nuclear transfer vehicle, I think. A full day away. Alright, so now we've got target tracking. We can go to target retrograde. And as I said, it's going to be a 25-second burn. I did disable the maneuver node, so we're not trying to burn towards the maneuver node. We're just using this for timing at this point. So at 13 seconds away, because we got a 25-second burn. So 13 seconds away from our closest approach, we are going to start braking. Bringing ourselves to station keeping speed with the station. So we are very rapidly approaching at this point. Very rapidly. So that does seem to be more powerful than it is leading me to believe. I think there's something a little bit wrong there. Let's coast a little more towards it. I feel like it's like only calculating the maneuver node for one of these engines instead of all three. Could be wrong there. Or perhaps it's calculating this against us, even though it's disabled. Not really sure there. Okay. All right. We are now pretty good station keeping. Now kill this node. We got our 51.9 meters a second of delta V closed out. We're far enough away that we can probably aim pretty much dead at it and drift out of the way so we don't have a collision. But just aim a little off just to be totally safe here. Trust these nuclear engines. Let's close the distance quite quickly so we can flip to retrograde and have auto-targeting. Because this is a fairly large craft, the auto-targeting does help. And when we station keep much closer, we'll disconnect this fuel tank and use its RCS thrusters to maneuver it to the station. And then we're going to have quite a difficult time with the nuclear transfer vehicle because that does not have its own RCS. It relies on other things to RCS dock with it. So perhaps I should have the station dock with the nuclear transfer vehicle before we attempt to move the tank over. That might be actually what I need to do. Because the station, I believe, does have its own independent RCS system. If I designed it, you'd think I'd know that. Whoa! Okay, that's cool. That was a lot of thrust. Yeah, I think, yeah, because it does have its own RCS system. I think what I need to try and do is dock the nuclear transfer vehicle first. I think that's what we're going to do here. We're going to undock. ourselves at the target. We can then flip around the station. We do have a little bit of drift from that piece now. That's okay. We can make this work. Oh, I see. That's bad. Oh boy. All right. Let's see. Which way is up on this thing? Okay, that way's up. So let's rotate it accordingly, so it's a little easier to eyeball. Because this is kind of a funky one. Put these on the off axis, realizing I probably wasn't going to ever need to do exactly what I'm about to need to do. But it does seem to have good control. Actually, quite amazing control considering its size. Yeah, really quite good. I'm remarkably surprised at how maneuverable this piece of station is. Okay, that should be a pretty nice, easy dock. Very good. Okay. Now swing this into position. Switch now to control from here. Which way is up on this guy? Up is which way? Cannot see, cannot see. Of course I would block it. Great. Okay, whatever. We'll just go back to linear. We should be fairly well aligned. Nav ball. Regretting that should be well aligned comment. That is not true at all. Okay, that's a little better. Good. There we go. All right. A bunch of auto strap to cancel. Perfect. See how the whole station handles a spin. I have to say, really not too bad. All right. I'm like laughing at how absurd this is that this went so smoothly. Now, this guy's still a long way from its maneuver. I guess we do need to rename this, or rename its core. Deep space, gateway, like the real one. There we go. Not a bad looking station so far. We are going to probably need multiple more science labs, but outside of that. And of course, we do have our refinery on the way as well. Probe's still a way out. Sometime warping from the station, which is never a good idea. Let's go to the Space Center. Before that blows up in my face, quite literally. Contracts, maybe? Nah, not really. Need to clear out some of our existing contracts, I think. Nope, don't want to do that. See if there's anyone in that we absolutely can't live without. Shepfell, Sergey, Koron, Max Rick, Lee, Arbery, Kimdo, Ferry, Berto, Fred. Oh, that is just such a great name. Do I need Oh, that's a lot of funds. We've got a lot of Kerman already. We have Seven signed. See, Jebediah, Jebediah. All those are on the Jebediah Kerman station. That's Dunson, Ronner, Bill, Bob, and Cabin. And we have Chedman, Agalok, Tomler, Sidri, Desfin, Debdorf, Nedbo, and Cambo, all in Valentina Kerman station. So, and of course we have Jeb and Valentina both passed away due to mild explosions. So, what else can we do in the meantime? What else can we do? Do need to play around with a lander type. Didn't I save a lander? Yeah, I did. So Moonlander Mark II. That's what we're currently using. And it's not going to be what we want from Minmus. I can definitely say that. We don't need as much fuel, number one. So I'm just going to pull a couple of these pieces off. And by a couple, I mean I'm just going to, really just going to trash all that. We're going to do a narrower body on this. It's going to be a work vehicle here, so maybe I should do the orange there. Traffic cone orange. Let's just do this one. This one will look better with the Terrier shroud. I'm going to put the Terrier on there. Let's do this. Yeah, that looks good. Alright. Alright, so that's kind of a okay. It's kind of not the greatest looking landing position. Looks like it'll kind of tippy. Tippy. That doesn't bother me a whole lot. Just get away with one longer ladder for that. Yeah, we could probably just go ahead and move that out a little bit so it lines up to the pod. There we go. One ladder system. Beautiful. So all that looks good, even though this craft does look a little silly. We're going to have some stuff to kind of level out the base anyway. Some more. Question I'm going to have is how much is this going to have here? Yeah, 863 meters per second at Delta V is way overkill for Minmus, so let's start planning accordingly here. Both those fully filled and with a full fuel tank. Still looking at 596. That is a lot of Delta V. so I can really get away with more. Might be what I need to do. 2 big tanks. And about of those are filled. 69, that's still pretty good. It's kind of tempting. Some aerodynamics just to make it look good. If I really want to. That is looking like a Minmus lander. That's looking like what a Minmus lander should always be. So let's move this panel. Spare solar panel. Right here. Let's go ahead, let's get rid of this junk. Let's put a larger clampatron on. Better with 2 of these solar panels, so I might just keep that. Put those as, well, maybe do 4. Move this down here. It's more out of the way. This is starting to look right. Mining equipment. That's the large one. .30% base efficiency, where this has 100% base efficiency. So this is not that effective. This little one. About what we can fit, though. Check how our center of mass looks. Actually, pretty spot on. Because those drills aren't very heavy. 2.5 tons? No, I guess not. It's only 1.25 tons. Probably get away with this big honking thing. It looks silly, but I mean, if you're gonna go big, go big. Oh my god! Nope, that's not gonna work. That is a drill. This is what we are gonna end up having to use. Let's just do like this right here. I don't know if I'm supposed to let that go into the ground, or if I'm supposed to let it like sit on the ground, or what I'm supposed to do. It's supposed to clip or not. Back to science. Want one of these on there. Of course, no atmosphere to check. Put a ravioli scanner on there. Right here. Second one of these right here. Got all our science experiments. Load it up. Alright. It's all looking good. We need our new core, so we can autopilot it for its first go. So a hex core there. Inline reaction wheel. Some batteries, of course. Looks pretty good. Now, this is going to be independent of a RCS system. So let's put some RCS stuff on here. Two of those. Two of those. Four of those to help out. Balance this a little bit. Because you're going to be far from. Hopefully that works out pretty good. This will be the backup, probably. The first one ends up being the backup, and then I work out all the problems for the primary. Let's put some 1x6 repackables on here for solar panels. Shows plenty of battery. Does this get hot? That's another question. Yep. Required cooling, 50 kilowatts. Some kind of radiator. This is actually enough, this one radiator, according to this. Let's put a single small deployable. I want to do this. I have to move these. More than enough. Yeah. Oh, just want the one. I can kind of sneak that in behind that. Because I'll be able to deploy drill, then extend radiator. Would be good. Now it still needs its own RCS. This is an expensive little lander. Now our center weight is way off that way, so we want to put some extra RCS over here. Balance this out. So let's put like let's put some below. Let's move that into the center of the tank a little bit. Okay, yep, there's our RCS. That still we're off center by quite a bit. At least when these are loaded. See if I can get a second one of those in there. it still puts us a little off kilter. But not by a ton. I think that should be okay. This one is retracted. Is it any different? So we need RCS. Up top. The bottom of the tanks, we'll put some in. That should do us. Oh. Let me use this thing. Holy crap. Fully loaded, it'll be 11 tons. But we're not going to launch it fully loaded, so that's one benefit. See if I could get a Science Junior bay in there somehow. Working on limited space here. They kind of make a very crazy looking lander. Alright, this is gonna have to do. This is gonna be all we get. So, with this being so heavy, actually, when it's not fully loaded, it's actually fairly light. It's only 4 pounds. 4 tons, I mean. 4 pounds, wow, holy shit. No, 4 tons. 4 tons! We want to launch this probably on a K7. Some kind of adapter. Yep, some kind of adapter. So let's do this. Let's get rid of this little tank. Let's keep that one. The ring, that might be enough. Yep, that's just enough clearance. Doesn't hit the side tanks, so let's do that. Okay. It's already a step in the right direction. And then, just to be safe, let's put a little extra fuel down here at the bottom. Let's slide this down a little bit. This will be a custom K7. Particular launch. We do already have these aerodynamic shapes, so this actually probably can take off without a shroud if I so choose. Which I think might be the thing I do. Might launch this as is. I think what I would need to do if I want to do that this at the top. Kind of a derp cone. It's our aerodynamic overlay and the okay, that's interesting. down there. Okay, so yeah, we definitely have a good aerodynamic situation here. At least it seems so. And I would need my favorite things that I'm always forgetting. First, a single Sepratron here. We'll have a separator at the top. So that'll eject that. That'll just be to get us through the atmosphere there. Okay, and then we need some kind of retrograde boosters. Here. Here. Make sure they're lined up here. Okay. Should do nicely. This might need to be saved. We'll fire those, of course, with the main engine. Then booster separate. Then we go to second stage. And then we can get the nose cone off. And we can drop this. Fire that engine. Good. This hopefully would be sufficient for a Minmus transfer as well, without using all its fuel. Yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see if we just spin out of control and blow up. Okay. Interesting. Alright, off we go. Say something. So far, stable. Even without fins, which I just realized probably could have helped us a little bit if things go haywire. So if things do go haywire, I'll just probably throw some fins on this and try it again. But this does look comfortably Kerbal, so we're getting a little bit of a prograde turn there. Just the prograde turn, I'm fine. I'm okay with a prograde turn. It's a little wobbly now, actually. That's due to the extra weight on that side, which is why it is on that side. Very carefully pitch. Make sure we have full control of the vehicle because it does want to tumble very badly right now. It doesn't want to tumble. Okay. This is actually looking pretty good. So driving our apogee now at this point. Working on a high apogee. So our second stage engine can then get us into orbit. good. Now fire stage engine. Start tracking the prograde. Almost high enough to jettison the nose cone. Way back down. Okay, apogee's now high enough. Let's focus on driving horizontal velocity. Which actually, this is quite a ways out for maneuver, so we're going to go ahead and try and set it up as a maneuver. Let's see what we really need to do to get this totally level. Level up for a circular orbit. 1 minute, 22-second burn. So we want to be about 30 plus 11, so 44 seconds away. Yep. It's telling us we have enough fuel on the stage for our transfer. That's good. At least for our orbit, I should say. Kind of a quirky looking craft, but you know what? It seems to be doing fine. I mean, this is such low gravity, I'm not really too worried about it being kind of wonky. Looks sci-fi-esque, like it's a little transport vehicle or something. Cargo vehicle. It sort of is. Of course, we still have the inclination change to make, so this might not be suited to get us all the way to Minmus. Stands. Yeah, I'm seriously questioning that. We're probably going to be about 100 meters a second of delta V short of even the transfer burn. But let's get the inclination burn set up. Kind of weird. Oh, ascending notes, we need to go down. There we go, 0.0. Good. We have just enough fuel on this the second stage to get us into our inclination that we wanted. Just barely enough. which is good. It'll deorbit itself much easier. But without a good transfer stage, we're going to be stuck in curve and orbit for a while with this guy. Which actually, I just realized, let's extend the solar panels before we lose power. That would be ideal, huh? Since we just learned that lesson with something else, let's make sure we do it properly here. Okay, so 7 seconds from burn. We're gonna start. There we go. Okay, we got a little bit of correction. What little fumes remain on our fuel tank here. Just a little more. Damn. Overshot it. By a measurable amount, no less. Now it's 0, 0. So we'll just cancel that out, but let's delete the maneuver. Beautiful. Okay. Now, variaps 82, apogee 95. Let's do a little bit of a radial burn to level us out with the 13 meters of delta V 30 meters per second of delta V that actually remain. Okay, that's the end of the fuel over there. It's just a slightly higher periap, slightly lower apogee. Levels us out just a little bit. And then we'll aim prograde. And that will launch this lower section. Deorbit, not leaving any trash in space. And then we've got this lander that can't quite get it to get itself to Minmus right now. So we'll figure out a transfer stage for this probably. Probably just an extra fuel tank or something. And we'll go up and dock with it. And get it on its way. It's a fun little distraction. Now, that's still in a horrible position for Nedbo's pod. What about, let's see what else is going on. It's still 1 day, 2 hours away. Let's, warp that in. We're almost coming up on another rendezvous, which should be the planetary scanner. It's going to have a 1 second burn retrograde. So I can just set up the engines a little better. The older Spark engine. Yep, 30% gives us a 4 second burn. That's a little easier to time. Let's take the auto aim off and go for stability assist. Two seconds away from our maneuver, we're going to start our burn. This should complete a contract. A bit of correction. Hold her steady. Bingo! There's our contract complete for polar orbit of Minmus. for a satellite, which we're going to need to do anyway with the incoming scanner over there, so could have just waited. But now we can put it on the altitude we want to put it on, so, you know, whatever. And we've got our station still. We've got our 2 probes. We've got our relay network, so we're looking actually pretty good here. Pretty happy about that. Yep, you can see it's actually getting first hop. It's going first to one of our relays, and then it's going all the way back to Kerbin. So that's pretty cool. In fact, it might be going off another relay. It is, in fact. Wow. Okay, that does a really weird path. Because our relays are slightly out of position over here, because they're not perfectly equilateral. You can see where this one should be here for it to bounce off of. It's actually going and bouncing it off our moon network and then bringing it back. So that's not good. That means that we could have some dead periods there if we don't get that relay network fixed, which, again, I did burn a little bit retrograde so it would bring itself back in the correct position. That's something I'll have to keep track of. But pretty cool. You can monitor the network path there. Actually see our relay network doing its job, sort of. As I said, this one needs to pick up the pace a little bit. Relay 1. To go to our other relays, I can go ahead and name our other relays. So I've never done that. I need to stop leaving stuff untitled. It's kind of boring. Even though this is just as boring, relay 4. Probably put another satellite up to plug the gap as well, actually, come to think of it. No, it would be a temporary gap. Oh, I'm tired tonight. Relay 5. Of course, our Munsat relays are following a different naming scheme. Those are older model relays that do need to be phased out, although they seem to be functioning, at least for our purposes at the moment. Those ones not actually synchronous satellites, although even these ones, I might have these, come to think of it. This might be synchronous, but in the wrong direction. Synchronous altitude, but not following the spin of Minmus. No, it seems to be fine. Yep, you can see as Minmus spins, we are following the same area. It's pretty cool. One, on the other hand, has a polar network, which is currently kind of a mess. What is this one anyway? This was a contract satellite, I think. Oh, this is the resource scanning satellite. Let's rename that. This is Surveyor 1. Which does actually double as a relay. help patch that polar network around the moon, because the network around the moon does kind of suck. It's kind of not the best network, as I was saying. Yeah, most of these are much older. This was my first relay network. At least organized relay network. So these are very old. I'll still have a ton of Delta V on them though. And of course we have one equatorial relay as well, so we can theoretically bounce signals through all the different polar satellites. This one's very old though. This is our oldest one, as you can clearly tell. Following a very old probe scheme that I was using. Kind of a mismatched one, actually. Very few of this body probes still remain with us at this point. Alright, let's see how far this now is away. From its rendezvous. As I said, this should be the Surveyor. Yep, this would be Surveyor 2. I'm going to just actually go ahead and rename it now. Ooh. Surveyor 2. Probe. Accept. Ooh. And it's actually a good point. We're not quite to our encounter yet. We're 5 hours away, but I do want to first eject our lower stage here. So we no longer need that. And we want to do that so it will fall back to Kerbin. So we're going to send it off retrograde. Very good. Now if we check on that debris. Oh yeah, it should be falling right back down the Kerbin, smashing into Kerbin. Very good. Trying to keep our debris down to a minimum. Now we also, if I head back to the Space Center, we might be coming up finally on Sun Satellite 1, or Sun Satellite 2, finally coming up to its first maneuver. If it's still in radio contact, which is questionable. I'd be amazed if it actually was still in radio contact. Again, using some very old antenna technology. That's Sunset 1. We want Sunset 2. Sunset 2 still has 11 days before its maneuver. It's getting there. It is outside of radio contact, though. I expected as much. I figured it would eventually lose contact. It has electric charge. Somehow. Probably from these solar panels. Well, I should probably... Okay, I can't turn it to reorient it, so... Whoops! Yeah, that little guy's boned. Probably come up with some kind of booster, some kind of signal booster. Could I put like a crazy satellite up there? Well, I think I'm gonna end up calling it a night. Seems like it's a very quiet day, as I very much expected. But before I do that, I'm just gonna go to each of my stations and collect whatever science we managed to collect today, while they've been researching all those wonderful science experiments we've loaded on board. We'll start with the Valentina Kerman station, sitting in moon orbit. Its 2 labs have been fully loaded for a while. They've been running through a backlog of science experiments. And there we are. Let's see, 66.3 science. Transmit that back. Perfect. Okay, then the main lab, another 66.5 science. So we're going to transmit science. Our moon station unlocking a lot of our tech tree for us. A real workhorse right here, Valentina Kerman Station. Then Jebediah Kerman Station also has got quite a full laboratory at the moment. Not quite as full, but getting there. .2 science. Not as bad as I expected. I expected a little less than that. Still learning new things about Kerbin, apparently. There we go, 47 science. Let's go check it out in the Space Center. There we go, 220 science we'll be able to invest in some way. Try to figure out what we want to go with. I could probably start putting, finally, some points into aircraft parts again. Like there's probably some good ones for Mark II. Not sure where the probe core comes into play for the Mark II system. Probably what I would really want before I start getting into that. And I think that might actually be in a different spot. Might be like unmanned tech or electronics. Electronics I probably need. A better communitron, better relay antenna, more science, seismic accelerometer. Automation. Automation is where that drone core is. Wow, that is a way away. Alright. Well, guys, I think that's going to be it for the night. So, for anyone that did join in and I missed you, sorry about that, but I didn't really see anyone join. But if you'd like to see our previous streams, you can always catch them at dudeiccollegebro.com. What am I talking about? Yeah, youtube.com/dude-I-called-you-bro is what I'm talking about. It's down there at the bottom. Look at the bottom of the screen. Trust the bottom of the screen. Don't trust me. And then, of course, if you want to see our other streams, it's pretty much every night at 7. I took a couple nights off here for the holidays, but outside of that, it's been pretty much every night. So with that, have a great night.